Welcome back to the Vocal Troubleshooter. So are you dealing with pitch problems? There could be a few reasons for it. Let's talk about it. So today we're going to talk about pitch problems. Nothing is more obvious to listeners than a singer who has pitch problems. And it's not only obvious to listeners, and people who have absolutely no musical knowledge or background can usually tell when there's something wrong with a pitch. But not just the listener, but even the singer, even if they're unable to fix it or if they're unaware of their cause of the problem, they can usually tell that they're not singing on pitch. So there are several causes. There are several types of pitch problems and several reasons why people have pitch problems. Today we're going to start out talking about, we're going to talk about all of them, but we're going to start out talking about the kinds of pitch problems where a person is completely unable to match a pitch, completely unaware of what direction to go in. Is it higher? Is it lower? They hear the note, they just cannot find the note to match it. This is probably the most severe of pitch problems. This is common among people who are new to singing, people who have not ever really tried to sing for the purpose of performing before. And so they're completely unaware of the fact that pitch even exists. And so it's a confusing thing for them. It's very common that people who have this issue were not exposed to a lot of music as a child. We all need to learn pitch. Typically it happens, our ear coordinates to our vocal cords by the time we're 6 years old. But if you're exposed to a lot of music and if your parents sing to you a lot, then you may learn that faster and sooner. And if you grew up in a household where there was not a lot of music, or your parents didn't sing to you, or your parents did sing but they had pitch problems, then your ear coordinated or didn't learn how to do it at all, or learned how to do it poorly. So it's something that we all need to learn. It's something that you can still learn, even though you didn't learn it as a child, but it is a very slow and methodical process. You want to begin by dealing with your speaking pitch. Now, people are sometimes surprised to find that your speaking voice has a pitch. So in speaking, you'll hear notes that go up and notes that go down, and you're speaking with melody all the time. And so you're already accustomed to matching your voice to certain pitches that you want to use in order to express yourself. If you didn't have any pitch in your voice, then you would speak with a very monotone way like a robot. But since most of us don't speak that way, you are accustomed to having some pitch, and you will be able usually to match notes that are within your speaking range. For most people, it's about a half an octave in the mid to lower part of your range. Women tend to have a little wider speaking range than men. But you want to begin by saying some simple words. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. Then find your notes. Where are those notes? I don't want to. So go ahead, find your notes. If you have a keyboard or a piano, it's really going to be very helpful to you. Try to find those notes on the piano and match them. And continue to walk your way up until you get to a place where you can tell that you're not really matching the note anymore. When you can hear that you're no longer matching the note, then walk your way back down and try to go a little lower than where you began. Once you've matched that, you're going to listen to the note before or after. If you're going up, the next note. If you're going down, the next note below. And listen to it. Play the note, listen to the note, and hear it in your head. Imagine yourself singing the note. Play it again and again, really listening to the note and hearing it inside your head as if you're singing it. And then sing it and try to match the note. As you are able to do this, and the more you listen, it's going to require concentration and focus The more you listen, the more clearly you focus on hearing that note inside your head, the better you're going to be able to match the note. Once you're able to match that note, you continue to move your way up your range, one note at a time, until you reach the top of your range and you can't sing any higher, and then work your way back down again and work the low end the same way. And this is an important, very systematic, slow, methodical process, but it does work, but it really requires your concentration. So now another very common pitch issue is when people are unable to find the key. So their relative pitch is very good. They can stay in pitch within their key. But when they're singing along with a band or an instrumental track where there's no lead vocal to guide them, they have a very difficult time finding the key, so that they can't start out in the right key and they end up singing in the wrong key. Again, this is more practice than anything, but the best way to overcome this issue immediately is to listen for your start note. Very often you'll be able to find a start note in the introduction to the song, being played by one of the instruments. And if you don't, you can ask somebody in the band to actually play that start note or the first couple of start notes for you, or you can insert them into an instrumental track so that you actually can hear it in your head first, recognize where you are within the key, and then come and make sure you're singing in key. It not only happens in the beginning of a song, but very frequently it will also happen from one section of the song to another. So as you move from the verse to the chorus, or from the chorus into another verse or a bridge, or back to the chorus, or if it modulates, if the key modulates and changes at some point, you may find difficulty. And the same thing can, you want to apply the same process there. Listen for your start note, either that is already as part of the instrumentation, or again, you can ask someone in the band to actually play that for you so that you have an opportunity to hear it, or you can insert that into your instrumental track. And that's the fastest way to overcome that problem until you've practiced it enough to where your ear becomes coordinated to keys. All right, so now the third most common type of pitch problem is really due to laziness. It's laziness in listening. You may not be really aware of the melody, the vocal melody. You assume you know it, but you haven't really paid attention to each and every note of the melody. And it just requires a little more focused listening and concentration. If you find that just listening really carefully is not doing it for you, then if you play an instrument, one of the best things you can do is to get the sheet music for the song you want to play and actually play the vocal melody line. And as you play the vocal melody line, you'll become very clearly aware of those pitches, and then sing along with the notes that you're playing as you're playing the melody notes once you've identified them. If you don't play an instrument, technology has come a long way and made things a little simpler for people. There are a couple of sheet music websites that you can go to. There's musicnotes.com and sheetmusic.com. Both of them enable you to purchase the sheet music, download the player where you can then play the melody. So there will be an instrument. You can sometimes assign the instrument you want, whether it's piano or something else, to play the vocal melody line. And that will enable you to really hear each and every note and learn the exact and precise melody to make sure that you're singing the right notes. Very frequently, the software online that plays this, the player, will enable you to slow it down. You can change the tempo so you can go very slowly and methodically work through it. Often you can also transpose the sheet music into a different key if you're singing it in a different key than the original key. And that is a very simple, easy way to make sure that you're really nailing the actual melody notes. All right, now, so lastly, the most common pitch problems that singers encounter is often they will fall flat in certain places. People typically don't have sharp issues where they go sharp. They typically are flat. And this is common in specific places. And there are several causes for that, but they typically all are caused by technique issues. You either don't have enough breath pressure in order to make your vocal cords vibrate when they're stretched that far for that pitch. So you're not using enough breath pressure. You have a hanging soft palate, which is absorbing the high end frequencies and making the pitch sound flat. You are not placing the vibrations in the right place in your body in order to be able to really get the high vibrations to ring out. So you want to make sure that you're placing them in the right spot for that particular pitch. And every pitch has a right and a correct placement. You're singing too loudly for the pitch that you are trying to sing. That's preventing your vocal cords from being able to stretch far enough to be able to vibrate at that pitch. And lastly, you're lacking color. Your tone may be very colorless. As a result, you're not bright enough. You're not getting the brilliance in your voice in order to get that just the high end enough. And so all this causes you to sound flat. If you're having these problems, you're usually aware that you're flat in these places. And if you're not, when you listen back and you hear yourself in recordings, you can usually certainly hear it then. But most people are aware. They can hear that there's something wrong, that they're falling flat. So if you don't know how to correct these technique issues, then it's very important that you seek out professional vocal training with a professional voice teacher and learn how to control these aspects of your technique. Because, again, pitch is something very few people miss when you're flat or you have a pitch problem. So it's not one of those things that you can kind of get away with. Hopefully this has helped you with your specific pitch issues. Please send it to anyone you know that you think could use some help. Try not to insult them when you send it. Just let them know that you found it helpful for yourself and you thought they might be interested. People are very sensitive about this topic, so you want to be careful. But please share it. Like it if it helped you. Comment if you feel there's something more you would like to say about it. Or questions you have regarding this. Please also join us on Facebook, subscribe to our channel, go to our website at bangonrecords.com and see our past videos. I'm going to have a slide in a minute that'll list all those addresses where you can find that. Also, if you're a guitar player, please be sure you check out Guitar Q&A with Paul Biondi. And if you subscribe to our channel, you'll be made aware of all of those videos as they become as they're posted online. All right, till next time.